Hi, guys. I'm here with my two co hosts, Michael and Mark. I'm the producer of the show, Career AMA. And if you have any questions, please go to michaelleckie.com/ask. We love this question related to personality tests. So, some corporations, as you know, have employees take personality tests or other measures to identify their strengths and weaknesses. What are the best ways to discern strength, weaknesses, talents, skills? And how do you use this information to help both the company and employees?
Let me jump in on this, Michael Leckie. I have a certain attitude to this personality test thing. The very fact that you have a personality test denotes that there must be a thing called personality. But what if there isn't? I mean, what if there isn't? What if there isn't anything like a set personality that is with you for the whole of your life in every situation that you're in? What if it's really, some kind of strange kind of horoscope or Rorschach test? It really is just a stab in the dark, a look at the stars, ultimately. Look, here's what I'd say about personality testing is and this came from a great friend and mentor of mine, Bruce Van Reinbocking, who actually would implement personality tests on behalf of the companies that were wedded to these tests. Like, we must do this personality test. He said, the value in the personality test is in a great debrief. And he said, the best debrief you can do is to get them to read the outcome of that test, okay? And to say to them, if any of this were true, what, if anything, would you want to do about it? And that for him, and I think that was genius. I think that's brilliant because it takes it as a potential horoscope and or look at the stars and basically goes, look, it could be right, it could be wrong. And regardless of that, like, is there anything in there that if it were correct, you'd want to do about it? But Michael, what's your attitude on this?
The same attitude, good or bad, as yours. I'm always suspicious of them. And what bothers me is when organizations misuse them. Any tool that we can use to start a conversation is valuable. Any tool that we use to narrow in and put definition when it comes to human beings, I think is probably not very useful. Putting narrowing in and definition on machines and systems, beautiful. Human beings are too complex for that. It's beyond complicated and into complexity where you can't use one frame or one lens. But those lenses are a great place for a conversation if we don't assume it's the truth. So that's how I've always used them. Mind you, I've been trained in many of them and gone through tons of them. There's only one, by the way, Hogan, which actually was proven in court to be able to make some selection decisions and be valid. The rest of them are showed as, completely invalid or, really questionable validity. Those of you who love them, I'm sorry right now. If you love, whatever your different, test is, your Enneagram, whatever it may be, there's value in it in the conversation, as Mark said, but there's not value in it as a definitional tool. And I think that one of the things that you're going to run up against, so that Mark pointed out just perfectly, was some companies are really wedded to it. So my advice to you would be, if you go to a company that's really wedded to it and they love it and they've got their cubes or colors on their desk and they talk about it, find a way to use that to engage in conversation. What I probably wouldn't do is say, oh, you use that? Yeah, that's kind of BS, isn't it? That doesn't really work, right? Because now you're invalidating one of the things that makes them feel together. They've come together around this. They've used it as a cultural touchstone. There's value in it. It's okay. You don't have to believe in it all, but it's a great place to start a conversation. So be able to talk about it and be able to approach it. As Mark said, you can do the reframing. Oh, is that what it says? Well, if that were true, you know what I want to do with that? So you can give your own disclaimer and then have a dialogue about it. Look, they're out there. It's a big industry, and it gives people what appears to be easy answers around hard decisions, which are around human beings and not only who they are now, but who they are, when you don't see them putting on their best face, and who they're going to be tomorrow and how that's going to impact your business. And that is just really, really hard to ascertain, especially in an interview process where everyone's putting on the different masks that they have to wear. We think this is a shortcut. It's not really a shortcut to learning about that person, but it can be a really useful tool to engage in a conversation to find out more of what they're really about. But also, I guess the last thing I'd say is, you better damn well know what it is you're looking for too, because if not, you're going to use that test, you're going to find out more about them, and then you're going to give them a halo for the things that you like and value, and horns for the things that you don't. Whereas maybe you're not the right person for that job and they are. You're just a part of the interview process. You really need to understand what it does for kind of affinity when we see people that we think are like us or not like us. This helps us do that, which can be actually ineffectual sometimes in the interview process. Mark, any final thoughts on that personality testing, or we kicked that one badly enough already?
Yeah, I mean, look, just building on what you're saying there, we group together under a system that I would call values, beliefs, rituals, customs, goals, concerns, and signals. And, if one of the values that that an organization has is we think Myers-Briggs is really good, and they want to use, all the notations of that, which would be a signal to go, oh, I'm an EB3 or whatever it is. That's a base that Gibson made, particularly nice base in the 1970s that give, but I don't know, they've got all these letters and numbers and colors, but those are signals. And look, I'm kind of making fun of them right now. And anybody who's wedded to them out there will be going, Mark, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'll have lost a lot of work because of just, making light of this thing that people are wedded to because it bonds them together. Look, I really have no problem with people bonding together. It's so important that we human beings do that. Else we die. We're social mammals. But that doesn't mean the bonding system is true, okay? Doesn't mean it's accurate and correct. But often it's good enough, and good enough is fine. So I'm happy with people going, hey, the Myers-Briggs, it's good enough. It's like, yeah, it is. It's good enough. It's good enough. But if they go, it's true, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I got an issue. I got an issue with that, just like I have an issue with anybody trying to enforce their culture on everybody else. Culture is a wonderful thing because it's utterly diverse, and that's what's brilliant about it. If you like the culture you're in, really, hang on to that and really work out what is the value system that I'm part of, but don't necessarily think that everybody else has to adopt that. But maybe I've spun off into a whole different world there. Look, if you've got questions for us, or you want answers like you've just given, then michaelleckie.com/ask, or put them down below this video. Catch you around.